Hey everyone, in this video we're going to learn how to make a slash effect using Blender. So this effect is often used in games where a character would have a weapon and when they slash there's like a weapon trail. To start off, we have to make the mesh and we're going to use geometry nodes for that. So let's add in a plane, and then in the geometry nodes tab we're going to click new to add in a new modifier for our plane. And then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our geometry, which is we're going to be using a curve arc. This is going to be a shape of our slash. So let's take a look at this. So this is an arc curve. Let's increase the resolution to 64 so it's more smooth. And we can also change the radius. Let's change it to 2 to make it a little bigger. Start angle is just moving around, and sweep angle is how long the curve is. Now that we have this, we can add in some depth to it because right now it's just a one line. To do that, we're going to need a curve to mesh. We have to make it into a mesh. And we also set the radius of our curve. Next, what kind of mesh we want to use our curve. We're going to be using quadratical. Then we put this in profile curve. And if we increase the radius, we can see this is our curve. Let's fill the cap so it doesn't have any holes. All right, so our slash is going to be 2D, so we don't want it to be in 3D. We just want it to be flat. So I'm just going to change the height to 0. Okay. Change this to 0.2. Okay, so next we want to have one end of the curve to be sharp and pointy, and while the other end to be larger. So to do that, we want to put in a spline parameter mode and get the factor and put it in the radius. Now we have this where when this would be the end of where the weapon is, and this is the end of the trail. And we can also tweak this to have some more control by adding in a flow curve node. And you can change the size of it if you want it to be more thick or bigger at the ends. This will change the end of here. This will change the other end if you want it to be smaller. I think I want this should be good enough. All right, so now let's make the material for our mesh. So to do that, let's make a new material called slash. And then we can put our shader editor here. We should run material preview mode. You can change the color. But first we need to set the material here in geometry nodes. So let's set this one to slash. Okay, and then we have our material. Right. To get rid of this artifacts here, let's turn on backface color on the camera. Get rid of that. All right, so we don't need this. Let's use a emission mix shader and then a transparent BSDF. Let's put that there for now, and then get a noise texture and then a color ramp. Let's see what this looks like now. Okay. Right, so now we want to stretch this out using a vector math node. We'll set it to multiply all these to 1. Okay, so now we need to have the coordinates for our vector. And to do that, we are going to use the UVs for our mesh. But since this is a geometry node and this is a mesh of this arc, we have to get this attribute from this arc and link it here. So to do that, we're going to add in a attribute node to capture this attribute. / and use this as the vector. And then from over here, we're going to reference that here using a store named attribute. Set it to 2D vector and then face corner. Name this one / same name. Now we want the UV, so we want the X and Y coordinates of this arc curve. So to do that, we're going to need to have 2 capture attribute nodes. One here and then one here. And we also need to capture it using the combine XYZ node. We want to capture the length of this curve. We use the factor from our spline node. And for the first one, we put in X, and then the second one, put in the Y. Now we have the coordinates that's referenced here. And we can use the multiply node to scale the noise texture. Around here is good. Like around here. Okay, so now we want to make this transparent because right now it's solid. So let's connect our transparent BSDF and emission node and a mixed shader node and put in the color ramp to the factor. All right, so now it's all pixelated, so we have to go to our material properties and change this to blended mode. Okay, so now that we have transparency correctly, and we can also change the color. So let's use a color ramp for this. Let's pick a little bit better colors. Bluish. Turn off the emission. Okay. Tweak these values you want. Maybe increase this a little bit more. Okay. And then you can also have a add node. Simplify this. Change this to add. This to 0. And if you move these values, you can also try to animate this. As if it was a slash effect. Right? So now one thing that we may want to do is to have the fall off on the edges, not so close to the edge, so it's clear that it's like just cuts off like that. Change this back here to make it more pointy. Then change that, and then we're going to add in a mask node and a separate XYZ. Change this one to ping pong. X and Y, and then put the vector in. We also want to have a smooth minimum. Use these two plus a color so we can control what we're doing. So let's just look at this. So here we have fall off of this. So it's only this part here, so it doesn't cut off here. And we can change this to how if you want. You can change the values. This. This. All right, so now we want to put these two together. All right, so now we're going to put these two together. So now we're going to add in a color mixed color node. And we're going to put this color ramp in here. And we have to switch this to multiply. And increase the factor all the way to 1. So now if you want this to be near the edge, you can change this. Better fall off. Tweak this. This will change the outside of the other side. This looks good. You can also change which way you want this. Tweak the colors. Another thing you can do is use this to animate if you want. This will change this. You want like a half circle or a longer one. Up to you. And that's the whole effect. I hope this was helpful for you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.